Good evening, Black people and all allies fighting for Black liberation, Black prosperity, and Black joy. I'm Laverne McGee in for Charles Blow, and welcome to Prime. President Biden traveled to Kentucky today to assess the damage caused by deadly storms and tornadoes that claimed at least 74 lives since last Friday. The president met with families of the storm victims and local leaders, ensuring they would receive the full force of the government's assistance in the state's recovery efforts. But while the president was on the ground in Kentucky, back in Washington, there was plenty of scrutiny over his child tax care credit expansion plan. BNC White House correspondent Ariana Manise has more.
Parents received a helping hand from the federal government with the child tax credit, but future payments are in limbo as Democrats are slow making progress on the social spending plan. For 6 months, American families saw an increase in their monthly income thanks to the expanded child tax credit included in the COVID relief package. Over 30 million parents received monthly payments of $250 to $300 per child.
It was a huge help and just tremendous support. There are a lot of fees that come with embarking on the journey to become a business owner. So just to know that I had that support from the government, it was good, you know.
Rashawn Perkins, a new realtor and a single mother of two, says she was able to breathe due to the extra cash. But with the pending expiration of the expanded child tax credit, she's concerned about her monthly finances.
The $500 was a tremendous help. And now to know that we're going to have to rewrite things, we're not concerned with the holidays because we just can't afford to participate.
Democratic leaders have proposed a single-year extension of payments as part of President Biden's Build Back Better plan. Democrats see the expanded credit as critical to reducing child poverty and want to prevent a lapse.
In my district, it's a majority minority district. And when you go to the Black and brown neighborhoods, we have poverty rates as high as 20, 25, 30%. So this child tax credit helps them to put food on the table.
But with the package being stalled in the Senate, Democrats are expressing frustration that families may go without the extra income.
It's heartbreaking, and this explains the disconnect between members of Congress and real people in our communities, particularly those who are hurting the most. There's a disconnect.
President Biden has called Congress to take action to keep the program in place, something parents are urging lawmakers to do as they try to stay on their feet.
We are still in need and we are grateful, and we would appreciate if the help can continue and if they can keep their word. You know, we would appreciate if you can keep your word. We are using it to support our families, and you know, we need the help.
The Senate must pass the Build Back Better Act by December 28th to continue benefits. Part of the holdout continues to be Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, who continues to express concerns over the bill. Reporting from Washington, I'm Ariana Manise for Prime with Charles Blow.
President Biden wasn't the only one grabbing headlines today. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin pleaded guilty in 2 separate civil rights violation cases in federal court. Chauvin's first guilty plea was in connection to the 2020 murder of George Floyd and served as the first time Chauvin publicly accepted his role in Floyd's death. The indictment cited that Chauvin violated Floyd's civil rights by depriving his right to be free from unreasonable seizure, which includes the right to be free from the use of unreasonable force by a police officer. Chauvin's second guilty plea was in connection to a 2017 incident in which the former officer kneeled on the neck and back of a handcuffed and non-resisting 14-year-old. That indictment stated that Chauvin also pinned the teenager down by the throat while hitting him in the head with a flashlight. Both the Floyd family and the unidentified teenager were present in the courtroom today for what George Floyd's brother Philonis called a good day for justice. The prosecutors have requested that Chauvin be sentenced to 25 years in prison on the federal civil rights violations to be served concurrently with the 22.5-year sentence for the murder of George Floyd. And joining us now to discuss this, our opinion columnist at The Guardian, Michael Harriot, and BNC's chief legal correspondent, Laura McNeal. Welcome to both of you. Good to see you this evening. Laura, I'm going to start with you, and I want to remind everybody that you were there on the ground for the trial. You covered it when it was happening, and of course, you know firsthand what the process was. So I'm wondering, if there was some sort of legal strategy behind this, what happened today, or if this was this a genuine admission of guilt? Was there any foreshadowing of this that you saw?
You know, interestingly enough, one thing that really bothered me throughout the trial about Derek Chauvin is not seeing a sense of remorse throughout that trial process. But when they got to the sentencing stage of the state charges, I did see remorse. And I remember him directly addressing the Floyd family and saying, there's some things coming down the pipeline that I hope will give you a sense of peace. And I think he was referring to this plea deal for him to plead guilty for these federal charges. And so in that sense, I want to believe, to be quite frank, that there is some remorse with him, and also obviously in his best interest. The odds were not in his favor that he would have not gotten a guilty verdict on the federal charges as well.
Michael, what are your thoughts on that? Michael, I hope you can still hear me. Are you with us? Looks like Michael is having some trouble hearing us. We're going to try and work on that. But Laura, I want to continue with this discussion. This sentencing, this plea deal, in terms of showing other officers what they could face when it comes to violating rights, do you think that this sends a message with Derek Chauvin today?
Absolutely, Laverne. This sends a very strong message that we're in a new era of accountability for police officers, that our court system is not going to treat them any different than you or I. And we see that based on the Ahmaud Arbery trial, meaning the trial for the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, as well as Derek Chauvin. And so this is something that a lot of people in our communities have been asking for, accountability for police officers. And this is a step in that direction, especially with again, the feds actually going after Derek Chauvin and not just simply turning a blind eye.
So, Laura, does this save him from jail time in terms of his previous sentence?
It does, and that might upset some people. The fact that part of this plea deal, what made it so appealing to Derek Chauvin, is that he doesn't have to serve more jail time. So they're recommending, as you stated, 20 to 25 years to be served concurrently. So essentially, he will be serving his federal time and state time at the same time, literally, and so he's not going to have to do any extra time behind bars. Another really important caveat about this plea deal is 90% of his sentence is going to be in federal prison. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people that he might have arrested that ended up in jail are in those state prisons. So from a safety perspective and comfortability perspective, you would want him to serve, it would be in his best interest, essentially, to serve in federal prison. So that's another caveat with this plea deal.
Yeah, and it seems like he'll still be fairly young. I mean, you know, considering in his 60s when he gets out. Michael is back with us now, Laura. So, Michael, I want you to weigh in on this. Initially, I was asking you if you felt like this was genuine, that he was pleading guilty, or if this was just, you know, him trying to keep himself out of as much hot water as possible.
I think it was a little bit of both, right? I think had he not had the prospect of more time and being found guilty anyway, I don't think he would have pleaded guilty, because we saw what he did in state court. And I think also, you know, we have to realize that these weren't the same charges, right? So he was fighting charges of basically in the state court he was fighting charges of murder, and in the federal court he was fighting a different type of charges that wouldn't have necessarily had been as fact and evidence intensive. So I think he didn't have a choice, and I think he also knows that regardless of the outcome of this trial, he's still going to be in jail until he's well into his 60s. So I think it's a little bit of both, but I don't think you know, he just felt like, I will plead guilty because I want to give the Chauvin family, I mean the Floyd family, a semblance of closure.
Michael, I want to follow up with you, because when all of this happened, we saw something we hadn't seen. We saw people in the streets when George Floyd was murdered, and we saw that video. We saw a movement. We saw people in the streets. We saw people worldwide. Now, you know, you don't really hear the type of outrage that you heard before. Do you think, and even today with this, do you think it's just, okay, we just keep moving on? What happened to all those people who were outraged by the system and outraged by what happened to George Floyd? What happened? Does the movement just go away?
Well, I don't think they went away. I think it's what we've seen throughout history when these kinds of things happen. There's first an initial outrage, and then people get tired of talking about racism, white people for the most part, and they want to go back to their lives. Sometimes it's just like I said something on Twitter, and I made a protest sign, but ultimately they don't have to live with the weight of police brutality and racism and white supremacy that people who aren't white have to live with. So I think we've seen it on the corporate side, we've seen it on the individual side. When we see the outpouring of support during the George Floyd protest, you have to remember that this kind of brutality was happening all the time and they weren't there. So you can't be surprised when they leave, when they were not showing up in the past.
So, Laura, I'm going to give you the final question here. Is this the end of us hearing about Chauvin? Are we going to hear over the years he's good behavior and he's parole or anything like that? Is this the end of hearing his name, or is he going to pop up somewhere again along the line?
We're definitely not the end of Derek Chauvin. Keep in mind, he still has that appeal for those state charges, saying there should have been a change of venue, saying that the jury should have been sequestered. That appeal has not been reversed or withdrawn, rather. So we will hear more from Derek Chauvin. You can believe that. But it'll be a little while, but he's definitely not gone.
All right, Laura, thank you so much for joining us. And Michael, please stick around. I want to get your take on another story later in the show.